What's up, everybody? Alex Corey here with cultivatedchange.com. We are up at the farm today in a gorgeous town just north of Asheville, North Carolina. Greenhouse in the background and gorgeous mountain range. We'll give you a couple shots around the farm. I was sitting in my living room last night and looked over at my TV. I think I was listening to a speech, an old Alan Watts speech, because I just love the way he presents information. I'll link a couple of his great intro to meditation videos below. And it must have been the same speech I listened to about 10 years ago in an apartment that was set up pretty close to the way my room is now, because I had this outpouring of deja vu, like I had been there before, and it scared me a little bit because at that point in my life I was just starting my personal growth journey and all the plans ahead of me, and it scared me because I fell right back into that neural pattern and thought that I hadn't actually progressed. So I wanted to go over why it's so important to actually implement things, because this book popped into my head. So this is Jon Kabat-Zinn's Wherever You Go, There You Are. And that is always true, and it reminds me that you can change anything about your situation, your environment. You can move from place to place, as I have been in Hawaii, been in Texas, been in New Hampshire, been in North Carolina. But if you don't actually change anything about your habits, about your neural networks, about your patterns, about your outlook, about your daily actions, if you don't take radical action, all of that data collection on meditation, on personal growth, on finance, on business, on health, becomes a form of mental masturbation or just stroking your ego. So we're going over how to avoid that. So a lot of people would think that that phrase, mental masturbation, is a little blunt, harsh, crude, but that's what it is. So I fall into this all the time. So this entire video is basically a rant about my own internal mental processes, where when you start learning about the benefits of meditation or mindfulness practice, or you start learning about the benefits of resistance training or any of the bio-optimization, cold plunge, sauna, breath work, like I said, resistance training, healthy eating, intermittent fasting, anything that can optimize your body. This is such a rich time to be alive because there is so much of that information. As my videos attempt to present, there's just an influx of people doing their own personal N-of-1 experimentation. If you hear noises, greenhouse being used in the background. But if you just constantly digest information and don't do anything with it, that's just knowledge. You are in no different a place than you were before you learn the information. Knowing that that information is empowering is wonderful, because it does give you that little dopamine hit that I get, at least, from just knowing empowering information. But if you don't implement it into your daily or weekly routine, there are no new neural networks being built. There's no habit formation, and the risk is 5 or 10 years later, which is what scared me, you'll remember learning all of that because you will end up relearning it, because you'll forget, because you won't implement it and integrate it into your life, and you'll come across it again 5 or 10 years later and have that freak out moment because you haven't changed it all. Hey everyone, I have an offer for you. Do you have a healthy habit that you've been meaning to implement in your life, but you either haven't had the resources, you don't know where to start, don't have enough information, or you just haven't actually figured out where to implement it in your actual week? That's what I do, and as a gift for following me and a preparation for sitting for my board exams next year for the National Council on Health and Wellness Coaches, I need a ton of practice. So I'm extending a free 20 to 30 minute coaching session for any one of you. The link will be down below. I need a little context about what exact habit that you'd like to implement, I'll have a link to my calendar right below that. Just submit that and I will reach out. This can be anything from nutrition, cutting the crap out of your diet, implementing or resuming a fitness routine, sleep and recovery, getting outside more, getting a little more movement in, building more social connection, anything that touches around the content that's been on my channel thus forth. And as a thank you, I will be having a substantial discount on any of the longer term health coaching programs I offer. See the link below. So this is just to stress the importance of possibly just going over one thing, one new cool thing that you want to implement. So that can be either a diet shift, changing your food patterns, switching your macronutrient intake, or trying 2 meals a day, or doing intermittent fasting, or starting a new resistance training routine, or a new movement practice, or mindfulness practice. You can go on forever. Point being, there's no harm in doing multiple things at once, and the benefits do stack, but you actually have to do them. And it is much easier, since most people have incredibly busy lives, to just pick one that you think is awesome and that has extraordinary benefits. The biggest is going to be diet, because that has the most metabolic cascade of benefits on body composition, on metabolic markers, on outlook on life, on neurochemistry. It touches almost every part of your physiology, so that's the biggest one. But if you wanted to try something just like implementing a new running routine, or maybe just picking up a new book, pick one thing and do it, or implement it into your week somehow. If you need help, that's what coaches are for. Link below for my coaching. And that's what I help clients do, is integrate one thing at a time works best if you do it multiple times a week, like training basis, such that you build those new neural networks and you don't have to think about it again. After about 3 weeks of doing that consistently, it becomes a part of you and you don't have to spend mental energy doing it. But you can do more than one at once, and that's what a reset is good for. So plug for my 21-day Ancestral Awakening Reset program. If you work best at doing multiple things at once because you are busy and it takes a lot of energy just to implement one thing, and it works if you want the benefit of multiple cascades. So you want to try a new movement practice, and you want to try getting more sleep, and you want to try changing your diet. It's a lot at once, but if you work well with that deep immersive process, that's probably more your speed. That's it for this one. I just wanted to caution against just absorbing information. It's technically a form of analysis paralysis, but I do it all the time because I'm addicted to information. That's what I do. So if I'm bored, I will just scour research articles because there's so much cool information. But unless you put them into practice and actually change your neurochemistry, change your unconscious routines that run, you risk waiting 5 or 10 years and having that deja vu feeling hit, where you remember doing that exact same thing when you were younger, but you didn't actually implement anything, and you have to start all over, and now you're 5 or 10 years older. So just remember to put something in practice, because that is how you become a new person and transform.